Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Sisi.
My name is Keira.
Welcome to
Speech competition.
Lesson 2020.
Today we are going to have lots of amazing performance from 16 participants.
But before that, let me introduce our judges first for today.
The first one is Miss Shalma Shakira Bakti, and the second one is Miss Ira Damayanti Fasa, and the last one is Mr. Axel Henry. So now I'm going to tell you about the rules and regulations.
Peraturan perlombaan speech Laser 2020. 1. Peserta merupakan siswa-siswi SMP yang telah mendaftar di Laser 2020. 2. Sekolah dapat mengirimkan lebih dari satu peserta, maksimal 3 peserta. 3. Peserta dilarang berada di dalam ruangan lomba, kecuali setelah tampil dan pembimbing boleh berada di dalam ruangan lomba. 4. Durasi waktu lomba pidato 5-7 menit. 5. Peserta menyampaikan pidato pada saat perlombaan tanpa membawa naskah. 6. Lomba speech ini dilaksanakan satu babak, di mana seluruh peserta wajib menyampaikan argumen mengenai tema dalam naskah pidatonya. Juara 1, 2, 3 ditentukan berdasarkan 3 peserta yang meraih nilai skor tertinggi. 7. Lomba akan dilaksanakan jika minimal peserta 10 siswa. 8. Jumlah maksimal peserta adalah 25 peserta. 9. Keterangan teknis lebih lanjut diberikan saat technical meeting. Peserta dapat memilih salah satu tema naskah pidato speech contest 2020 di bawah ini. 1. One idea that could change the world. 2. Becoming an influencing Gen Z. Kriteria penilaian. 1. Pronunciation 15%. 2. Grammar and word choice 15%. 3. Fluency 20%. 4. Performance 20%. 5. Content 30%. Peserta datang tepat waktu sesuai jam yang ditentukan panitia. Jika peserta datang terlambat dan tidak menghubungi panitia, maka dianggap mengundurkan diri. Panitia berhak mendiskualifikasi peserta yang melanggar peraturan dan ketentuan dan atau tidak memenuhi salah satu persyaratan di atas. 12. Keputusan panitia dan juri tidak dapat diganggu gugat.
Each participant has 7 minutes to deliver the story. The timekeeper will knock once indicates it's already 4 minutes, and will knock again twice indicates that it's already 6 minutes, and the timekeeper will knock continuously to indicate it's already more than 7 minutes.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's start our competition by welcoming our first contestant. Before we start the competition, for all the contestants, please wait outside the room until we call for the... Jadi semuanya boleh keluar ruangan dulu, nunggunya di luar, nanti dipanggil pas udah waktunya untuk tampil. Let's start our competition by welcoming our first contestant, Nuruddin Yusrar. Please give applause for Nuruddin Yusrar.
Halo, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nordin. I'm from Junior High School of Fikri. In this occasion, I'm going to talk about the problem of the trees on Earth. Trees, we need them the most on Earth. Why? It's because they produce oxygen and we will need oxygen to live. But there will always be a problem with the trees on Earth. For example, in Australia, over 17 million acres have burned over the last 3 months. And it is estimated in Indonesia to have released 709 million tons of carbon dioxide until 15 November. It is almost the same as the Canadian annual emissions. There are lots of wildfires in this world and people ignore them. People are getting sick because of the ashes and some of them even died. The animals also disappeared and in Australia, millions of them died. Humans cause 90% of wildfires. Human caused wildfires results from the burning of debris, intentional acts of arson, discarding lit cigarettes, playing with matches or fireworks, and sometimes fires occur naturally. The heat ignites them from the sun or a lightning strike. However, the majority of wildfires are caused by human carelessness. A study led by Yale University researchers has found that there are 3 trillion trees on Earth. But that doesn't mean that we can stay just chill, because the number of the trees are decreasing every day caused by wildfires. But there are some ways to stop wildfires. First, don't discard lit cigarettes. Second, don't make campfires in places that can quickly get burned. Third, provide water reservoirs at places at fire-prone points to make it easier to find water in case of fire. Fourth, supervise fire-prone points. And last but not least, avoid burning rubbish in the field or forest, especially during strong winds. Now, those are the normal ways. But I have a big idea to make this problem not happening again. We should have a card pass. To enter the forest, we will need to show the card pass. If we don't have it, we can't enter the place. So unknown people won't just burn our trees easily. We now know the way. What we need now is to do it. We have to help our fellow humans with hearts and strength, not only watching them and leaving them alone. Not only humans, animals too. We don't say that animals are different than humans, so we don't need to help. No, animals' head, legs, ears may be different from us humans, but they still need love and families. Thank you for attending my speech. And I'm sorry if I said something wrong. Thank you for. I hope the best for all of your families, and you can save the trees alone. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The next contestant is Katrin. Please give applause to Katrin. Yay!
Good morning. Hello. Thank you, Labschool, for giving me this opportunity to speak. So, the world is our home. Imagine your house being filled with trash, thus having the thing you wake up to being coated with all kinds of nasty stuff. That is the state of our world right now. Hello, I am Katrinada Andina, and I am here today to talk about the problem with waste management in our world. And also my motto, which is little things build up. Waste is a broad term. It could be waste of space or waste of time. The waste I'm talking about right here is the waste caused by defective or used materials. So one of the examples could be a piece of paper or a plastic bottle. But a piece of paper won't hurt anyone, right? But the thing is, it's been building up for couples of decades, years, and until then, there's like big stacks of trash everywhere in the world. Imagine 8 billion people throwing stacks of trash. What damages could that cause? So 2.18 billion tons of trash is being thrown away every year. What kind of damages could they cause? Well, one of the main damages is, of course, pollution. There's air pollution caused by burning smoke, like burning oil from auto cars. And there's also mismanagement of waste. Yeah. But then there's also environmental damages, like the trash being thrown at seas, and its ties to the decreasing population of marine life and also the building up of organic pollutants. So it all and most importantly, there's global warming, food waste, like a banana peel or a rotten orange itself creates a fourth of greenhouse gases in this world. It all comes back to little things builds up. How a single piece of paper builds up in 2 to 5 years can lead to a terrible end for our world. But little things build up could also be a positive thing, not a negative thing. Like savings. If you save like 10,000 rupees a day for a year, you would end up with 3,650,000 rupees. And then I'm just going to give you a few tips on what little things you can do to decrease, not stop, because it has to come to a point that it's not able to be stopped, but decrease the amount of waste thrown out in this world. So there's obviously 3 R: reduce, reuse, and recycle. So reduce. There is a lot of choices out there. For example, fruits. There's the one that comes in big packages and plastic wrapping. Reduce is using products that has less plastic packaging or just not using plastic at all. There's also reuse. Reuse the reusable. Using plastic bottles or plastic bags that also could be used for taking groceries again. And then there's also recycle. Using, for example, a glass to make a ketchup thing. Okay. And then there's using reusable products like tumblers. You see, you got there. Tumblers, and then there's also containers. And then lastly, I think the most effective is programs. Like where you're in a school or you're in a workplace, we can provide programs such as recycling, like those bins. There's recycle, compost, and just trash. And then, or in schools, educational programs that teaches students and teachers how to decrease waste management. And then I hope because of that, the younger generation would have a cleaner and much better world than it is today. And then to end the speech, I'm just going to repeat the 3 points that I just said, which is 3R, using reusable products and programs. And remember my motto, which is little things build up. No matter how small or how big the things you do, it's going to make a difference. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Microphone. That you don't use the microphone. Better.
The next contestant we have Clarissa Arby. Please give applause to Clarissa. For the next contestant we have Atka Jufrisar Tirta Satya. Please give applause to Atka.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, judges, my honorable guests, and all of the student council in this Labschool. My name is Atka Jufrisar Tirta Satya. I am from the Ashahid Quranic Junior High School. So today, I'm going to deliver a speech. The title of this speech will surprise you. Why? Because the title is, I want you, yes, all of you here, I want you to stop freaking recycling. Why? You must be right? So the truth is, recycling will not save us, but it will danger us more. According to Greg Peterson of the urban farm in Phoenix, Arizona, recycling is the lazy way to be green. He believes that people allow themselves to buy or use more than they need because they think, I'll just recycle it. Is there another way to do it then? Peterson says there is. We shall first look onto reducing, reusing, and then the last one, recycling. And now, let me show you why recycling is dangerous for us. According to the US EPA, or the United States Environmental Protection Agency, making new materials requires a lot of energy and raw materials. Raw materials must be extracted from the earth, and it must be fabricated and then transported to wherever it will be sold. As a result, reusing and reducing is the best way to save your natural resources, energy, and the most important thing is to save your money. Okay, so let's all start using and reducing and stop recycling. Maybe you are asking, what's the benefit? Well, the benefits include reduced energy consumption and natural resources, and then
And then you can save the environment. And then benefits include you can save your money because you won't have to spend your money for the distributing and the manufacturing of the recyclables. So, maybe you're thinking, how on earth can I get on the recycling and reducing and reusing track? Well, here's some idea that you can incorporate to your lifestyle right away. First, you can try not to use plastic bags. Just use stock bags. Because if you use plastic bags to bring groceries home, it will be trash eventually. And the plastic waste is very dangerous. Secondly, you can bring your own tumbler or stainless steel bottles and then bring your own containers if you want to take out meals, take out meals. And then if you have enough space, you can plant a fruit tree and get some chickens. You have fresh fruits and eggs for years to come. So, what are you waiting for? Let's get on the reusing and reducing track. Okay, now. So, it is important to remember that recycling is not a charity, it's a business. They're not doing this out of the kindness out of their hearts. They're doing this to make money. So, if they're doing this to make money, they must want to make the maximum expenditures and make the maximum profits with the minimum expenditures. So, by piling up the garbage, they have reduced their expenditures significantly. And then, towards the situation, only 60% of waste of recyclables was recycled last year. Where the hell did the 40% go? So, if only 60% of the recyclables was recycled last year, that means you have practically given them money freely, or you have spent your money in vain. Okay, I'll admit it. Recycling is not the go away, and there's much to be recycled every day, and then there's much that has been not recycled that need to be added to the list. All I'm asking you to do is to rethink, and rethink. Recycling was never our savior. Recycling was never our friend. It will only bring doom to us. So, let's all stop using and stop recycling so we can save the earth and all the environment in the world. Well, that's all that I'm going to say. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Imagine one day you see the news on social media about this teenage girl coming out and standing up for climate change. She's telling other people that we can change the world by doing things such as reducing plastic waste, using reusable packaging, and reducing fossil fuels. That girl has now made a huge impact in the world through social media. And now
many people are joining her in her climate change strikes. That girl is Greta Thunberg, one of the most well-known climate change activists in the world. And today, I will tell you how you can do the same thing as her and make a difference in the world using social media. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aisyah Rahima Salwa from SMP Labschool Rawangun. I am really grateful that I can stand here today to present my speech. The speech I am doing is about how you can use social media to benefit others. I hope this speech can be of use to all of you. So we know from earlier that Greta Thunberg made a huge impact on the world through social media. But she didn't do it in the span of days. Her first climate strike happened in August 2018. And from there, she gained fame and popularity through social media. It took Greta 14 months to become popular through her speeches that were shared throughout social media. So we know that changing the world is not going to happen instantly, although 14 months is actually pretty fast to gain popularity. But anyways, we know it's not going to happen instantly. So why not we start from now? Do something simple like pick up one piece of trash every day. Now either record it or challenge other people to do the same thing and share it on social media. Greta, after she did her climate strikes, she told other teenagers to do the same thing. There are actually other examples of this idea being used. Back in 2014, you might have seen video clips of people pouring buckets of ice on themselves. Those videos will usually have the title Ice Bucket Challenge or ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Those videos were actually created to promote awareness of a disease called amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS for short. It's a disease that attacks your nervous system, and people diagnosed with ALS usually don't live for long. So basically the challenge is that you must pour a bucket of ice on yourself and then nominate other people to do the same thing. The challenge actually went viral during July 2014 until August 2014. And it even managed to raise over $220 million for the disease. Another example that happened recently is a project called Teen Trees, created by the YouTuber Mr. Beast and Mark Robert. It was basically an attempt to raise $20 million before 2020 and to plant 20 million trees before 2020. The challenge actually succeeded. A lot of people decided to donate, and they managed to raise $20 million before 2020. And one final example that actually happened in our country is a video, and in that it was about someone recording a video. And in that video, they were seen buying nasi uduk from an old man. They told the story of the old man and how he worked so hard from dawn until late night, making and selling nasi uduk just to support his family. Eventually, a lot of people knew about this old man and felt sympathy for him. So a lot of people decided to go to this old man's shop and buy nasi uduk from him. Now that old man has earned a lot more than he ever has. And that has become extremely beneficial to both him and his family. So you see, you don't really need to do anything huge to have an impact in the world. You can do even the simplest act of kindness. Share it on social media, and eventually you will see the community surrounding you start to change. And because your community surrounding you starts doing the same thing, then they, the community, will tell other people from other communities to do the same thing. And those people will tell even more people to do the same thing. Eventually, we will reach a point where everyone is doing a good thing, and the world changes for the better. Thank you for taking a time out of your day to listen to my speech. I hope this will be beneficial to us all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
have Devaro Shailendra Wijatno. Please give applause to Devaro.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ignorant, always glued to the phone, small attention span, and narcissistic are only some of the stereotypes against Gen Z that are believed by older generations. But believe it or not, Gen Z, me included, are the perfect activists to tackle various social issues. Now, before I elaborate further on this matter, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Devaro Shailendra Wijatno, and I am from Nizamia Andalusia Islamic Middle School. Who are Gen Z? One might ask. According to Pew Research Center, Gen Z are people who were born from 1997 to 2012. I'm sure you'll be hearing different definitions of Gen Z today because, as Pew Research Center stated, generational cutoff points are not exact science and should be viewed primarily as a tool to analyze various issues. However, despite the various generational cutoff points, a uniqueness of Gen Z compared to other generations is that it is the first generation of digital natives, meaning that we grow up with technology. Gen Z have three characteristics. First is communaholic, dialoger, and realistic. And I believe that these three characteristics makes Gen Z the perfect influential activist. Let's analyze the first characteristic. Communaholic means that Gen Z are able to feel connected with others despite different identities and don't differentiate between friends with online and in physical world. One of the reasons why Gen Z are communaholic is because we are always connected to internet. This allows us to know what happens around us and globally, and also sympathize with struggles of others from different countries because we can see what they are facing through videos or pictures. Therefore, we can also feel the emotions others go through during their hardships. Second characteristic is dialoger. Dialoger means that Gen Z strive to have less confrontation and more dialogue in advancing their interests. Gen Z believe that in order to achieve their cause, dialogues with all stakeholders must be conducted. Take for example, the March for Our Lives movement, which was created by the survivors of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, which was happened in 2018. This student-led movement aims to support gun safety regulation to avoid another shooting incident in America. And to achieve that, the movement organized peaceful protests in state and national level, foster online and offline discussion surrounding gun safety issues, and lobby lawmakers. This movement managed to rally support from community and lawmakers in changing the discussion surrounding gun safety issues that was seen as taboo to be discussed right after a shooting incident happened. All of these are thanks to the role Gen Z plays as dialoger. Now, on to the last characteristic of Gen Z, which is realistic. This means that Gen Z live lives pragmatically. We have awareness of what happened around us, and we can analyze what needs to be done to change situations that we don't like. Take, for example, the fight on climate change. All over the world, we can see that Gen Z are also on the front lines in the movement to address this issue. Gen Z believe that in order to achieve their cause, Gen Z Now on to the last characteristic of Gen Z, which is realistic. This means that Gen Z live lives pragmatically. We have awareness of what happened around us, and we can analyze what needs to be done to change situations that we don't like. Take for example, the fight on climate change. All over the world, we can see that Gen Z are also on the front lines in the movement to address this issue. All of us must be familiar with Greta Thunberg and how she has inspired everyone to take action against climate change. A Gen Z from Indonesia, Switenia Pusmalestari, is listed as one of 100 most influential women in 2019 by BBC for her effort to address this issue, to clean up underwater debris in our ocean. I have elaborated to you how my generation, Gen Z, have all the qualities that make us perfect to become influential activists. And next time you caught Gen Z busy with their phone, hold the judgment, because they may just be busy arranging the next big campaign to address pressing social issue. Thank you for your kind attention. Jazakallahu khairan katsiran. Have a great day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
For the next contestant, there is Abi Kresna Nabawi. Please give applause for Abi Kresna Nabawi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Abi Kresna Nabawi Saputra. You can call me Abi. I'm from Al-Fikri Islamic Junior High School, and here I want to give my speech about millennial generation. Now, you know that cell phones, laptop, computer are very sophisticated and modern, which today are known as eco boomers. And we live in that era. The era more use the technology, and the technology is controlled by the program. A program is series of instructions written to perform a specific function. And if the technology doesn't use the program, then technology will not run. This technology is the main or used by millennial peoples. Many cases of technological misuse by them, and many of them use the technology for bad things. Even they become too addicted or be referred to zombie mobile phone. They are be profit or enriched for playing to phone while walking. For example, when people going downstairs and looking for their phone, many of them are asleep and die from falling downstairs. And misuse of technology is the game. The game is millennial kids play. And a World Health Organization claim to the addicted or include to the sick of mental disorder. How the gamers make the game is first priority, and how the gamers still play the game although they experience and the negative effect from the technology. But the technology is not only have the negative effect, but the technology is have the positive effect. We can learn from technology, like learning from educational website, communicating, sharing information, and any else. That is our application or website from the phone, and we can access freely for learning and help us to doing assignment. And the role of parents is very important, because the parents is who control and protect their kids from the disadvantage from the negative effect from the technology. And we use the technology in a wise way. First, using it for learning. Second, using it for communicating. Third, using it for communicating and using it for making useful things. And we millennial kids must develop new ideas from the technology, making something new or new innovation from the technology. So be wise in millennial kids must protect ourselves from the negative effect from the technology. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
For the next contestant, we have Fayeza Aisha Wibowo. Please give applause to Fayeza.
If I quit calling you my lover, better know that I'll make it out alive. If I quit calling you my lover, move on. You watch me bleed till I can't breathe, shaking, falling onto my knees. And now that I'm without your kisses, I'll be needing stitches. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, judges. Good morning, audience. Do you know that song? Yes, it's Stitches from Shawn Mendes. Shawn Pitcherville Mendes, or better known as Shawn Mendes, is a Canadian singer, songwriter, and a model. We all agree that Shawn Mendes is one example of influential Generation Z in the music field. So, who is Generation Z? Well, Generation Z, or Gen Z, refers to the generation that is born after 1995. Generation Z is a part of the generation that is global, social, visual, and technological. They are the most connected, educated, and sophisticated generation ever. Furthermore, they believe in diversity, equality, and non-discrimination, not only in society, but also in broadcast advertisement. This generation are rather optimistic and very driven about their personal ambition. For them, self-actualization is of high priority and fulfilling job, as well as a fulfilling job and a good working climate. This generation has been raised on the internet and social media. They learn more about the world more quickly than the past generation because it becomes so easy to access information. For example, before they go shopping, they will look for inspiration online on a platform such as Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and even YouTube. Whenever they are shopping in store, they will get real-time feedback by their friends via social media. They are the up-agers with influence beyond their years. They are the early adopters, the brand influencer, the social media drivers, and the pop culture leaders. Now, we hear a lot about how Gen Z represent a new kind of generation. But how do they become truly influential generation in the social age? Well, influence is both a natural and learned quality that is developed over time. Most of the influencers we know have a unique ability. It means that being influential was knowing ourselves and knowing our values. We have to know where we stand and what we care about before we become an influential in an area. Being influential means that having others to hear our point of view, listen to what we have to say, choosing where and how we should make an impact. Because as with anything, quality always trumps quantity. People with passion can change the world. The influencers we know all have passion about their interests, and we already have it. Each of us is already an influencer of others. Our character plays as a key role in becoming influential. Although there isn't one size can fit all strategy for becoming influencer, but we can greatly benefit from practicing these following habits, such as believing in yourself. This is the most important thing for becoming influential. Believing in yourself is a foundation for others to start believing in you. When you're confident, people will naturally be drawn to you. Next is treat them with respect. Respect is one of the core values in life. People are more likely to trust you when you treat them with respect. And the third is be genuine in your words and your action. This will create opportunity to connect and engage you with people positively. But make sure that what you say and what you do is aligned with who you are. And last but not least is speak politely. This is the most important thing too, because when you speak politely, people are going to respect you too. And use words that can build people up and can make an impact on them. Communicate with them in the way that they understand and feel included in the conversation. Remember that influence is based on your character. The more positive character traits you exhibit, the more influential you become. And when your credibility is established, you'll have a huge opportunity to influence people. So, we are a generation that cares. It's true. And there are so many amazing minds that have already accomplished so much. So, we are a generation Z. From now and then, we have to be a generation that is creative, supportive, and have an influential spirit. Find your spirit, and no challenges will get, and no fairy challenges that will get through. Don't wait for opportunity and create it. Become a sunshine in our generation. Roses are red, violets are blue. Today is the best, and thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, for the next contestant, there is Amaska Zafifi Dobri Brahmasto. Please give applause for Amaska.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to the excellencies, my respected judges, and the audience. Today, I would like to deliver my speech on environment. Environment is the surrounding in which we live. It is the source of life. Our whole life is dependent to the environment. Good or bad quality of social life depends on the quality of our natural environment. The need of human beings for food, water, shelter, and other things depends on the environment around us. There is a balanced natural cycle exists between environments and lives of human beings, plants, and animals. Human society is playing a vital role in regenerating the natural environment, which in turn negatively affects the lives on this planet. All the human actions in this modern world directly impact the whole ecosystem. Our environment is an essential part of our life. It is the source for us to live and to do any of our actions such as eating, playing, working, enjoying walking, breathing, eating, and drinking. The environment is our surrounding. The quality of our life depends on the quality and proper existence of environment. The environment includes the atmosphere, surrounding geographical area, natural resources, and etc. Long ago, people could live according to principles dictated by environment in a way that is harmless to the environment. In these days, we are harming and degrading the natural environment and indirectly harming ourselves physically and biologically. So, the ecological system or ecosystem is affected. Its balance is affected and its recycling phenomena of ecosystem are tempered. The power of the technology and science has enabled the man exploit the use of environment for selfish and indiscriminate use and create a problem for everyone. The cause are deforestation, depletion of water under the surface of earth, growth of population, rapid urbanization, extinction of some species, loss of biodiversity, air pollution from greenhouse gases, drinking water pollution, river pollution by mixing poisonous chemicals, global warming, depletion of ozone layer, depletion of oil and gas reserves, and natural resources like minerals. We have to adapt to the environment. We have to follow regenerative and recycling mechanisms. We need to use resources in a discriminate manner. Otherwise, existence of humanity will become a question. People will suffer with a lot of disease. Famines and cyclones will become more frequent. Rains will become very untimely and damaging instead of helping agriculture. Action related to environment need to be done together by governments of various countries and the United Nations organization at a global level. Long-term planning and monitoring of actions of private corporations is needed. The young must be educated to live in harmony with the environment rather than exploit it. Let us fill our life with positive activities that will be beneficial for our environment. Thank you for your attention. I'm Amaska from Labschool Junior High Cibubur and I will speak.
For the next contestant, we have Claresta Faizadaru. Please give applause to Claresta.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Claresta Faizadaru from Nur Hikmah Islamic Full School, and such a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you for the judges and my dearest friends in here. Today I'm going to share my idea about our generation through my original speech. Hope you guys enjoy it. You might hear some people talk about Generation Z. Generation Z's age are between 6 and 21 years old. Sadly, some people mark Generation Z as the worst generation. Of course, I disagree. There is a wrong perspective in here. They say our generation is weak, but the truth is we have strong mind and passion for our dreams. The problem with the children these days is if they're already passionate with something, they will ignore the rest. It could be negative or maybe positive. For the example, if a child loves a subject, it could grow and become a talent. But if that child loves playing games too much, it will bad for the future and health. And then I will tell you about my experience in here, like my real experience. I love drawing, and I'm really passionate to be an artist. I cannot stop thinking about how much I really wanted to graduate, so I can take illustration major and draw every day without any hesitation. But still, it's a very long time and I need to wait. It doesn't change the fact that I'm still a junior high school student. I think I don't have enough time to draw, so sometimes I draw in class. Even I know the teacher is explaining the lesson, I'm still drawing. But I got bad scores at science because I didn't understand the lesson. Well, that's sad. But that is the past. Because of my parents and teacher support, I can fix it. I'm so happy. And I just realized something. Support from the people around us is really meaningful. No matter what generation are you, no matter what your personality is, and no matter what is your race. We are born to reach our dreams, and it's impossible without support from others. A children will not addicted to gadget if their parents told them to stop. A teenager will not looking for trouble if they are already cared at home.
The way previous generations lead us affect our future, and the way we treat them also matters. It needs good cooperation from both generations to lead us for the better future. And I know we can do it, only needs a little time. We are still learning and we need to study more. Please help us to reach our dreams. Your support is very important to us. Also, technology advances is a big obstacle for a generation nowadays. With internet, everyone could go everywhere. Every moment, every information, all can be known quickly. Too much information can cause FOMO, fear of missing out. FOMO is a feeling of anxiety over the possibility of missing out on something, as an event or an opportunity. This is another problem that our generation is facing. To be honest, I've ever got a small FOMO and it feels so bad. No one wants it. We better use internet only as needed to avoid addiction, FOMO, and excessive consumerism, so we can build a stronger generation to be the next leader in the future. The point is, we are the part of a strong generation that's surrounded by obstacles. We need to figure out how to survive it in our way and in our style. And the question is, are you the survivor? The answer is all yours. Well, life is full of surprises and amazing people. And I'm so happy to share my ideas in here with these amazing people today. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
For the next one, there is Anissa Diandra Charis. Please give applause for Anissa.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, good morning. My name is Anissa Diandra Charis. I'm a 7th grader from Norikma Islamic Holding School, and today I'm going to tell you about the advantages and disadvantages of the Generation Z and ways to change the world. So first, what is Generation Z? So Generation Z, or better known as Gen Z, is a group of kids, teens, and young adults that was born between 1997 and 2012. So they're pretty young, you know. And like everything else in this world, Generation Z have many advantages and disadvantages. The advantages are they have the ability to access information much faster and easier. And the second one is digital communication, so they can talk with people all around the world without having to go there and meet them. The third one is they are multiracial, so their members are more diverse, and they have many friends from other ethnicities, even the minor ones. But to be fair, I have to mention some of the disadvantages too, which is, one, they rely too much on technology. I mean, a member of Generation Z doesn't really know life without technology. And the second one is internet addiction. And a member of Gen Z can spend 6 hours on the internet, which is a long time, but sometimes we don't realize it because it's fun, you know? Seeing people dancing in TikTok, taking pictures on Instagram, that's fun. And the third one is they're demanding. A person from Gen Z has a very high workplace expectations. So often they just go from one job to another just because they think their first job didn't really fulfill their expectations. But with all the advantages that we have, I believe that we can change the world. Here's our few ways to change the world. Number one is you have to think big, try to understand the world by reading news or magazines and watching documentaries. And then you have to identify some problems. For example, like the sea levels are rising and rainforests are being burnt. I mean, I sound like Greta Thunberg for like 2 seconds. And then you have to try to see the world, you know, travel to foreign countries, ask local how they live, or just simply search them on Google. Technology. And then you have to consider what you want to change. Ask yourself, what is important? Maybe all children in this world have to get a proper education, or we can't cut any trees because animals need their home. Every single person has one thing that is important to them, so it's different from each person. And the second one is you have to manage your expectations. Ask yourself what it means to change the world. And then you have to know that changes doesn't come overnight. They need a lot of time and a lot of patience. It needs time. You have to be patient. And you can't and don't lose sight of your dreams. You have to set realistic goals, and you have to also specify your dreams, but don't forget about your natural gift. Maybe you like teaching, maybe you like drawing, like my friend. And you have to know that you don't have to do this alone. You can ask other people to volunteer. You're not the only one who wants to change the world. Everyone wants to change the world. You can ask them to join you to help change the world. And then the third one is you can help humanity by 1, volunteering or donating, buying charity wristbands, rubber wristbands. Number 1, they're cute. Number 2, pretty trendy. Number 3, helping humanity. How cool is that? That's pretty cool, right? And then the second one is you have to shop carefully, because every time you buy something, you're giving the approval of everything that goes into making the product, whatever it is. So you have to shop carefully, like real careful. And then the third one is you have to take part in blood and organ donations. Many countries have low blood stores, and they just need more people to donate blood. And when you die, you don't need your organs anymore. Maybe it sounds scary. For me it sounds scary. But here's the thing: if you donate your organs, maybe your kidneys or liver or something, maybe liver, and you donate it to someone, and that guy becomes the one who changed the world, then you take a little part in changing the world, because without your liver, that guy wouldn't be able to change the world. So at least you take a little part of changing the world. And the last one is to become an advocate. Speak against injustice. And you can ask your friends to be involved too. And those are ways to change the world. There's still many more ways to change the world. So thank you very much for your attention. And I'm sorry if I made any mistakes. Have a nice activity. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
For the next contestant, there is Melisha. Please give applause for Melisha.
how would you feel when you got the news that a loved one of yours has committed suicide? Would you be shocked? Would you try to find all the signs that they've shown of depression or anxiety or anything else? Would you wonder what drove them to doing this? Why would they do such a thing? Would your perception of them change? Would you think that they're a weak person for committing suicide? Well, the reasons why people commit suicide vary. There's a lot of reasons. It could be because of problems in family, it could be because of other factors as well. But most of them, all of them have one common factor, which is poor mental health. And that's what we need to be aware of. I'm Alicia Yomakita, and today I will talk about mental health awareness. So, mental health. Despite it being very important, it is considered a taboo to talk about in several countries. Why is that so? It's because people have very biased opinions of those with mental health issues, such as the stereotype that psychopaths are heartless murderers due to their inability to feel remorse or empathy. And not to mention how people just think that people with mental health issues are broken, all of that. And also another one is the male gender role where they have to repress all of their emotions. Usually, when a girl cries, they will be comforted. But then, if a boy does, they will just be told, "You're a boy, you can't cry. Boys don't cry, you know." And that will just make them believe that their emotions are unimportant and they'll just repress all of it, which isn't healthy. And it will be even worse if the person has had trauma and then they're just told to get over it, or other people have it worse than you. They'll believe that their emotions are irrelevant, that it's just wasting everybody's time and nobody wants to hear them. They'll just believe that they're useless and there's no point in anything anymore. They'll soon have thoughts of self-harm and suicide ideation. One day, if they take their own life, people will just see them as weak. Do you see the harmful pattern here? Due to stereotypes, people have been led to believe that people who are mentally ill are broken and are not deserving of love. And think about how much people have killed themselves just because they didn't have the right amount of support that they needed. Because sometimes all everybody needs in their darkest moments is someone that will listen to them, a trusted confidant who wouldn't judge them for anything. Someone who would just understand how they're feeling. But of course, not everyone can have that privilege. Why? Because, well, this world is bigoted. They've spread very harmful thoughts about those with mental health issues, saying that people with anxiety are just exaggerating everything, people with trauma are weak, and so much more things that are so harmful that will just lead to them being outcasted because of their issues. That's not healthy at all. And the sad part is, usually, someone with mental health issues never even wanted them. But then they have them and everyone else is just judging them for it. You already have something that you're so mad at yourself for having, something that you just never wanted at all. But then you couldn't even control it, while others are mocking you for it, saying that you're weak. You're pathetic. Isn't that just saddening? They never wanted the issues, but then everyone's just bullying them for it. So that's the problem here, and that's what we need to solve. We need to realize that when people have mental health issues, what they need is support, not ridicule. We need to help them. We can't just mock them. We have to give them support. Then they'll be able to realize that someone is there for them, and that they're not alone. They could be helped. Then they will be much more determined to improve themselves, and then who knows, they may be even more happier when they find out that someone is with them. Someone is going to support them through everything they've gone through. And then in the end, they'll be able to release their full potential of everything they could have done. The world would be such a good place without all the discrimination. Everyone would be happier and everyone could coexist in peace without discrimination. To me, that is a very ideal world, even though it's very hard to achieve. In the end, to conclude this, I would like to say that if you know someone that's struggling with mental health, support them. Don't ridicule them for it. You should help them. Usually, people with mental health issues think that they're a burden. So please remember to tell them otherwise. Tell them that you'll be there for them. But of course, it could be hard to help a person. But that's okay. You can take them to a therapist to help them. But usually, what matters the most is the encouragement and affirmation from loved ones. So in the end, they would really, really like your support. So please remember to tell those who are struggling that you'll always be there for them. Thank you for listening to my speech.
For the next contestant, we have Muhammad Yusuf Abdul Rahman. Please give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Yusuf Abdurrahman. I am an 8th grade student from SMP Quran Masjid. Before I speak on my idea, let me ask you all a few questions. How many of you feel that going to school is so much boring? And how many of you think that school teaches you so many things that you may not even need later in your life? And how many of you have an idea of what you want to be in the future? Or a better one, you may have a dream of your future, don't know what steps to take to achieve your dream. School is boring, too many things to learn or even memorize, and sometimes it makes us feel stressful in the middle of uncertainty of what we want to be in the future. But we keep going to school every day, at least we can meet friends, have some fun, and so on. Worse yet, students in some part of our country don't even care where they have to go to school, except for getting a diploma. Students and the government spend a lot of money on education. Students and teachers spend most of their time in school, but the result is far from being optimal. Today, this speech, I will deliver you my idea of education that will change the way we teach students and will help students achieve their dream more concretely and efficiently. I call it the education of my dream. Let me explain to you the idea. It is a digital platform that will become your education assistant for your entire life. It starts by assessing the talents and interests of toddlers and giving parents advice about how to stimulate their kids' talents. Later, at elementary school age, students pursue various professions in the future, like a doctor, a scientist, a pilot, or even a professional football player. How a profession look like in the future and how you can make a living out of it. It's just like playing a simulation game. You use your dream and envision yourself in the future. And this platform can give you health and physical advice. Maybe in the future if you want to be a professional athlete. And not only physical advice, this platform can give you mental advice too. To make to make you more confident and strengthen your mentality. Based on this, students will choose the goal that they dream in, and will choose the goal that they dream in, and will choose the goal that they dream in, and will and the platform will create curriculum specific to the goal. And student will only learn specific subjects that specific to their goal. And students studies at their own pace. Let me give you all some examples. If you want to be an architect, you will need to learn some math, more focus on biology, drawing, and the history and related things to architectural design. Another example, if you want to be a professional football player, you will be taught more physical education, maybe some math related to ball kicking, and basic biology on health and nutrition, and of course intensive football training. With this, and this platform should create an expert system that will give students advice to achieve their dream, and will hire students that only teach students teach students specific subjects, much like the Ruang Guru application that already exists, and students can communicate with other students, can communicate with other students in different places that share similar dreams and interests. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe using this platform, students are more happy because they can be more focused on achieving their goal. Focus on achieving the goal and no more stress because of the subjects that they are interested in. So you might have a question in your mind. What is the school role then? Well, I suppose school is the place where students meet, socialize, have friends, doing extracurricular activity. And the teacher's role in the school is a counselor, an advisor, motivator. More importantly, students can be more focused on teaching students characteristic building and some soft skill on students. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is a revolutionary change to the conventional school we have today. Conventional school that we have today. It is an education 4.0 platform that we have today that people will talk about. I hope this. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
contestant, we have Masha Aziza. Let's give applause.
Good morning to the Excellencies, my respected judges and audience. Today, I'd like to deliver a speech about the future of our health. Do you believe that we can cure depression? Depression has become the primary reason why someone dies of suicide about every 12 minutes and over 41,000 people a year. It is also the leading cause of disability at the age of 15 until 44. People said that this condition is only treatable, yet incurable. But the technology uprising that we shall face in the upcoming 5 years shall prove them wrong. Scientists have found a way to implant nano-sized robots right into the human brain. These robots, which are made of a single strand of the human DNA, are capable of carrying molecules and modifying the human genes. From now on, they can only be used to cure cancer cells. However, as mentioned in the previous statement, they can also be used to modify the human genes. By modifying the human genes, they force the DNA to send signals to the brain, compelling it to produce neurotransmitters such as serotonin and norepinephrine. The declining amount of these neurotransmitters is what leads to clinical depression. By implanting a large amount of nanobots, the amount of neurotransmitters can be stabilized. And along with that, clinical depression can be weakened, relieved, and prevented. My dearest judges, audience, and fellow commentators, we all know creating such miracle in a large amount isn't an easy job. A nanobot needs a single strand of the human DNA to work. While a single human DNA can cost up to $1,000. Expensive, right? How are you supposed to save the world if thousands can't buy it? How are you supposed to save the world if impoverished countries can't have it? How are you supposed to save the world if it gives no benefit? But fear not. There are some technologies that allow scientists to decode a certain genome in less than a day. The genome contains all information stored in the gene and the DNA. The DNA in the genome can be cloned using the NCNT technique, or the somatic cell nuclear transfer. The technique of taking a DNA-containing cell and fusing it with electricity. This is the same technique used to clone Dolly back in 1996. After these DNAs are cloned, their price should skeptically cheapen due to the large stock of the product. This is what we refer as a mass production, and it should be very beneficial to the poor and impoverished countries. After all we need is an affordable price for a valuable invention, right? If we have plenty of it, we can reduce its price and increase life expectancy around the globe. Nanobots can open a gate to what we call as para-immortality, which is a phase when humans are immune to earthbound disease and might only die of injuries. Carl Sagan famously wrote in one of his books entitled Cosmos that para-immortality isn't and never is impossible. Because the scientists who cried immortality are like the boy who cried wolf. Sooner or later, the wolf will come by itself. My name is Marcia Aziza Wardana from Labschool Junior High Chicopur. Thank you for your time and have a great day.
For the next contestant, there is Charissa Audrey. Please give applause for Charissa Audrey.
The world is rapidly changing, and everyone in here is just a human being on it. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carissa Audrey Perdana, but you can call me Audrey, and I've come from Labschool Kabayaran Junior High to deliver a speech about a serious topic. It's quite controversial, but it's something that we definitely need to talk about. I'm here to talk about the impact of the modern world towards mental health. Society has a way of making us feel connected yet isolated at the same time. Social media creates a platform where we can communicate with everyone in the world, and yet we are separated from the people in our reality. Technology has the ability to let us see everything and lose everything in one touch. This makes us confused and lost in the modern world, resulting in a negative impact towards our mental health. We usually feel lost, and in the end, it creates a mental disorder. I would like to clear off the prejudices and social stigma surrounding mental disorders. One of the most known ones, and regrettably common ones, depression, is a serious disorder that affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. It is a mental disorder, one that we have no control of. It affects our daily life. It doesn't destroy our body, it destroys our minds. Now, in Indonesia, regrettably, 27% of Indonesians have experienced suicidal thoughts in these past few years. The National Institute of Health reports that around 36% of 12 to 17 years old have went through one depressive episode in the last 12 months. And I regrettably want to mention the recent one where a student my age had jumped off the 4th floor of her school because of her depression. This is a serious topic that we definitely need to talk about. And it is something that is no longer a small topic, and it grows rapidly in this year. Now, I'm I'm sure you all know about Harry Potter, with his adventures and the wonders of the wizarding world. It's no wonder that J.K. Rowling is the success she is today. But do you know the character of Dementors? It is a soul-eating character, and it's actually inspired by J.K. Rowling's experiences with depression. Before she became J.K. Rowling, Joanne Rowling was an unemployed single mother. She applied for welfare benefits to help raise her one-year-old child, and it wasn't nearly enough. She placed her feelings of emptiness and fear into that single character, and it helped the book to become an inspiring and touching one. Her depression, instead of bringing her down, had gave her inspiration for this, to create this wonderful world, a place where we usually salvage in, and a place where our minds and imagination are free to roam and explore. Now, I have an idea for this, and this is definitely not revolutionary at first glance, nor is it new, but it's definitely something that could help our mindset and perspective towards mental issues. And that is simply just to take mental disorders seriously. There's some prejudice that we think if someone has a mental disorder that they're crazy or need a therapist, but it isn't true, because it could happen to us anytime and anywhere. So I have two things I would like to go through with this speech. First, so that people aren't afraid to reach out and seek out help for their mental issues. And second, so people themselves aren't afraid to give out that help to save someone's life. And lastly, I like to dedicate this speech to my friends and youths of this world. May we always be brave and be a beacon to others in this forever changing world. Thank you very much.
For the next contestant, there is Arkana Jibril Hadinegoro. Please give applause for Arkana.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone, the honorable judges, the teachers, and the participants in this competition. My name is Arkana. I am the representative of Labschool Junior High School, and today I will give you a speech about one idea that can change the world. Dear friends, today let's focus on one thing that can change the world. Attitude. Because as we know, modern influencers today have tremendous attitude. Let's have about 3 examples. Barack Obama, Malcolm X, Amelia Earhart. And in my opinion, attitude is a wonderful blend of our thoughts, our emotions, displayed through our body language, our stature, and the words that we say. And those 3 have shown us that if we have good attitude, willpower, a never give up spirit, anything can be achieved. And if we put our mind to it and our maximum efforts, anything can happen. Let's take Barack Obama. As the first African American president of the United States, his attitude portrayed through his body language, the words he says, they all spoke out against racism. And they inspired US citizens for him to vote for him and change the stigma from past elections. Then we take Malcolm X, a well-known Muslim influencer from New York. By the name of Al-Haraj Malik al-Shabazz, he fought for the religious differences, and his willpower really did shine brightly to overcome those differences and fought for one thing: equality. And third, we have Amelia Earhart, the first female aviator that said to men, we're in a world where women should have been housewives, should have done laundry, should have stayed in the kitchen all day. She proved to the people that doubted her, to the people who discriminated her, that she could fly across the Atlantic Ocean, which is something that even men today couldn't even dream of doing. And fourth, in Indonesia, I took example from Miss Yati Suwartini, Labschool Kebayoran Junior High School's principal, which she stated that attitude is crucial in human society. And I strongly believe that we have to be more respectful to our parents, our teachers, and society in general. And I'm saying that I love how the Japanese educate their students by not having tests until the 4th grade. Because from the point of the 1st to 3rd grades is that to educate their attitude, to build it, to prove it with good manners. And the thing is, the effect really did show in the 2018 Olympics, where the Japanese national team cleaned their locker room and they gave thank you notes for their hosts. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying that as if right now, examples are just examples. Thing is, we have to focus on our attitude, we have to build it, because as of right now, it's not a moment, it's the movement. And if we can conquer negative attitude, trust me, anything can happen. We can be the examples for the generations after us. And if that attitude can remain positive, ambition will follow. And then after that, persistence. And so will integrity. What I'm saying is, today, we can all be leaders. And I'd like to say thank you for your attention and thank you for your time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
For the last contestant, we have Chira Aninia Alessia. Please give applause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, judges, teachers, and participants.
My name is Chira. I'm from SMP Labschool Kebayoran, and today I'll be giving a speech about becoming and influencing Gen Z. Previous generations like to say that the internet made us lazy, but I believe otherwise. If we use the internet correctly, it gives us access to things that were impossible in the past. We have access to countless priceless information that could improve us to become an open-minded and a better person that is able to make a change. For example is Greta Thunberg. She is a Swedish environmental activist. When she was diagnosed with Asperger's, OCD, and selective mutism, but she didn't let it stop her. When she was 15, she went on a school strike in front of the Swedish parliament to demand on more action over climate change. And since then, she has inspired millions of students around the world to organize similar school strikes in the name Friday for Future. She is also invited to speak in front of the United Nations in 2019. She now has over 9.8 million followers on Instagram, where she often posts about her campaign. Another very inspirational Gen Z is Malala Yousafzai. She spoke about the rights of women of having education. She moved so many people that the Taliban made death threats against her. On October 9, 2012, when she went home from school, Malala was shot in the head. But gladly she survived, and since then she still advocates on the rights of education. She also established the Malala Fund, which ensures that girls all around the world have access to 12 years of free quality education. She became the youngest person to receive a Nobel Prize. As you can see, even at a young age, our generation could make such a huge impact in our world. But it's impossible for us to just suddenly make a huge impact. So how do we do it? We may start by doing small stuff, such as spreading information that is maybe vital. Let's take a case that is quite recent. A month ago, there was a huge flood around Jakarta, and a lot of lives were lost because of hypothermia. A lot of people aren't aware of the symptoms and how to treat that disease. Its symptoms such as amnesia and slurred speech were dismissed until it's too late. So I believe even spreading information might potentially save a lot of lives. But being an influencer isn't just on those stuff I mentioned. It is also very important to inspire people to embrace creativity and happiness. Let's take my own personal experience. So I used to host a kids show where I would make crafts, tell some stories, vlog on places, etc. And I got a lot of videos and messages where kids would also make their own crafts, try to host, doing vlogging, all because they saw me doing it. These kids went past their insecurities, built their confidence, engaged in creativity, and tried something new, all because of someone they saw or watched. Another thing that is important is to teach people, especially young children, to embrace their differences. Differences doesn't make us less, it's what makes us unique. And we should learn to embrace it. Nowadays, I think that our equality and diversity is improving. But I hope in the future, the world could be a safe place where people could express their opinions and embrace their differences without feeling afraid. But the most important thing to become an influential Gen Z is attitude. We shouldn't just, sit around and then talk bad about someone.
we should do something to make a difference. It may start with something small, but it might make an impact for someone else. And we shouldn't share bad influence. We must share good influence. Stand up to bullies, be nice to everyone, and show people that being positive is much better than being negative. It may start with just you, but it will spread. And maybe you can't change everybody, you can start by improving yourself. And trust me, people will follow, and hopefully negative influences could be drowned. So in conclusion, all you need to do to become an influential Gen Z is do positive things, however small you might think it is. Just do it first, and the rest will fall in place in time. And remember, we are the generation. This is our time, and we are ready to change the world for the better. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for your time.
Please give applause for all the contestants. So now let's just give our judges time to calculate the result, and for the participants, you can take a look at our buzzer downstairs, and please be here again 15 until 20 minutes. Thank you.
Hello again, dear everyone. It's time for the winner announcement.
Are you guys excited? Are you guys want to be the winner?
For the winner announcement, we will be announced by Mr. Axel. Please welcome Mr. Axel.
Hello, we are the judges have already discussed for the results, and we want to express our gratitude for your contribution on this competition. And we may see that every participant has conducted a very well and good job performance. You must be very proud of yourself. All of your content, your speech are very good. So we would like so much excitement on doing this job, our duty. But there is some things that we want to say to all of you. It is very hard to find out for the winners because everyone is doing very well. Everyone is very good, very confident, and what we want to say to all of you, keep on doing the good job and keep on practicing. And then Mr. Axel will announce for the winners. Are you ready? But we want to say that everyone is the winners of today. You have to be very proud of yourself, okay? Mr. Axel.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Hello. Yes, good morning again. Yeah, it's already mentioned. Very thankful to be here today, to be the judge of this speaking contest. The first thing I want to say is that everybody is a winner, because if you already stand here, it's very difficult. So again, everybody is a winner, but like in every competition, there's always one that is just a little bit better or just has a little bit more than the other ones. So we came to a top 3, and that is very close. I will start with number 3. Please forgive me if I pronounce the name wrong. Please correct me. It says Fayaza Ayisa. Yes. That is yes. The participant number was number 9, and the score was 1143. 1143. Very good. Shall we go with number 2 and rate the prizes? Oh, okay. She is from Al-Azhar. Al-Azhar Shifa Budi. Okay. Difficult. Okay, thank you. Our number 2 is yes. Our number 2 is Carissa Audrey. And she is from Labschool, Kabayola, and her score was 1165. So very close. Then we come to the number 1, and number 1 is Sierra Amelia, also from Labschool, and her score was 1170. That means only 5 points different, 15 points different between number 1 and number 3. So that means already how close it was. And I can say for myself, the other ones in my score were also on the same level. Again, thank you very much, and congratulations with your participation, because that's already very good, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you.
For everyone, please don't go anywhere, because we will take a picture with the winners and the judges.
Number 1,
Please wait a minute for all the participants. We're going to take a picture together, yeah, on the stage. Okay. Thank you. Now, congratulations once again. Oh yeah. Please, for all the participants, you can join us on the stage. We'll take a picture together.
Dipersilakan untuk semuanya boleh maju ke depan untuk foto bersama dengan pemenang dan juga dengan judges.
Satu sini, satu. One, two, three.